This information is also important, and you also need to learn that how many stops are there. If the question is how many stops are there in the English consonant sounds, then you need to answer 7, and you need to answer pa, ba, ta, da, ka, ga. These are there. For example, how many fricative sounds are there? Now, fricative fa, va, tha, da, sa, za, sh, zh, and ha. That means 9 fricative sounds are there. Now, why these sounds are called fricative? That is also a very genuine question, that why these 9 sounds they are called fricative. Because this is the manner. So there is a difference between place and manner. So the manner is fricative. There is a word like friction. You might have heard of it. Friction. And you all know what is the meaning of friction. So when two objects, when they rub against each other, then there is a friction. So for example, if I am rubbing my let's say two palms, then there is a friction here. So similarly, we have articulators, and when these articulators they are close, let's say your tongue is close or touching the roof of the mouth, and then there is a friction. Now, what type of friction is there, and what do we mean by this friction? Let's take the sound f and v. So as you can see that f and v, they are labiodental sounds. Here you can see that these two sounds are labiodental. And what is the meaning of labiodental? Labio means lips and dental means teeth. Now you look at my face, and particularly my mouth, when I pronounce the sound f, like my lower lip will touch upper teeth. F, f, f. And when I say v, 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 v. So that means two parts, lips that is movable, and because upper teeth is not movable, because our only lower jaw moves. So my lower lip touches the upper teeth, and that is f and v. Now, why f and v are called labiodental? Now this is proved. There is no problem in that. But we will look at now why these two sounds they are called fricative. Now you think that I am in the position of pronouncing first sound, but I am not pronouncing first sound and I am releasing the air. So I am in the position like this is the position, lower lip, upper teeth, and I am releasing the air. I am releasing the air. But if my question is whether the releasing the air is free flow, you will say no, it is not free flow. Then what is this? Friction. The air releases with a friction. So when you produce these sounds, the air releases and the air has some friction. That's why these sounds are known as fricative. Fa, va, tha, da, sa, za, sh, zh, and ha. So there is some friction. Let's say I want to pronounce sa sound, but I am not pronouncing sa sound. I am releasing the air. Again, there is a friction. There is no free flow. So likewise, all these 9 sounds, when you pronounce, then the air comes out, and air has the quality of friction in it. So that's why very scientifically these sounds, these 9 sounds, they are known as fricative. Now let's come to affricate. Now again, when you compare these two words, fricative and affricate, you find that again this fricate is there and this is similar to fricative. That means when we talk about affricate sound, there are only two sounds, ch and j. These two sounds, they have the quality of stop and fricative both. So you know what is stop? and you also know what is friction. And when you mix both the quality, the sound is affricate sound. So ch, ch and j. So there is little stop and friction, and the sound releases. Ch as in church, j as in judge. So again, why affricate sounds are called affricate? This is the justification for that. Nasal, only three sounds are nasal in English. Ma, ma is labial because two lips they touch each other. Ma. Na is alveolar because tip of the tongue touches alveolar ridge. And anga, anga is velar. Velar, you know, that is your soft palate. Soft palate. So back of the tongue touches soft palate. That is velar sound. So where can we have a velar sound? Anga, sing. When I say S-I-N-G, sing, or any ing form that you have this anga, like playing, fine, ing. When you have anga sound is there, and you simply pronounce this anga sound, you will find that my back of the tongue is touching soft palate. So these three sounds, ma, na, anga, they are nasal because air passes through the nasal cavity. Once you pronounce these sounds, ma, na, anga, and you press your nose, then there is no pronunciation. For example, I want to pronounce ma sound, and I press my nose. Ma, 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 ma. As soon as I close my nostrils, then you can see that you can't hear the voice. Now it is ma, very clear, ma, ma. So that's why these three sounds, they are known as nasal. So everything we are discussing, it's very much the part of your body as well. So it's like a joyful learning for you. So you are not learning something very arcane, very something robotics type of thing. You are learning something that is very much the part of you, and you can also sense it. So it's like a self discovery for you. So this entire course is more like a self discovery, that you already know how to pronounce these sounds. You are using these sounds in different words, but now you are experiencing these sounds. So there is a shlok in Bhagavad Gita, and the starting line is Gyan Vigyan Trapt Atma. That is the starting line. So it's like very interesting, and you should also know that there is a difference between Gyan and Vigyan. Now the common sense knowledge is Gyan means knowledge, science means Vigyan, but that is not the case. Gyan means acquired knowledge. So you already know pa, how to pronounce pa, where pa is used. So that is your acquired knowledge that you already know before joining this course. So that is your gyan. And what is vigyan? That is realized knowledge. So now you are realizing, okay, why pa is pa, why ma is ma. So there is a very fine distinction between Gyan, Vigyan, Trapt, Atma, Kutasto, Vijitendriya. Fine. So this is the shlok that you have in Bhagavad Gita. But this part, Gyan, Vigyan, Trapt, Atma, that is important in terms of what is acquired knowledge and what is realized knowledge. So what you are doing, actually, you are realizing these sounds. That okay, I already know how to pronounce ma, but why ma, and why ma is nasal, and why ma is labial, that you are realizing now. So it's like a self-discovery. This course is like a self-discovery for all of you. Now let's come to liquid. And in liquid, there are two types of sounds, and only two sounds. One sound in English is lateral, and another one is retroflex. Retroflex sounds where your tip of the tongue is bent. For example, if you pronounce the r sound continuously, r, 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 fine. So this r sound is there. So sometimes this sound, r sound, is also known as thrill, because your tip of the tongue is touching your roof of the mouth very frequently, like this. That's why it's a thrill. It is also known as trill. And lateral. And what is the meaning of lateral? When air passes through the sides of the tongue. So similarly, we are in the position of pronouncing l sound, but we won't pronounce the sound, but we will release the air first. So look at me, that uh, I'm going to pronounce l sound, but I'm not pronouncing sound. First, I'm releasing the air. Air is passing through the sides of the tongue. And when I say l, then the similar thing, sound and air both. So that's why this quality we have with the lateral. So because of this, these two sounds are known as liquid sound. Now glide. Now glide, I have already told you that what is the feature of a glider. Through glider, you can move from one place to another. And at tourist places, you will find lots of gliders, and paragliding nowadays a very fashionable tourism sport that we have. Now, so how come these sounds are glide? These three sounds are glide. This one is ya. So when you say ya, then ya and ya, ya, ya. So like your tongue ya is moving little from ya to ya, ya. So it's not on that particular position, but little movement you can feel when you say ya. Similarly, wa, again wa and that you have. But you have two qualities of wa sound. This is also wa and this is also wa. This wa as in weight. When you say weight, it's weight. And this wa is when this wa sound is coming with her sound, like what. So the pronunciation is same, but the difference is of voicing. Like one is voiceless when it is coming with this her sound. So you have lots of WH words like why, what, while, when, where. So then you have this inverse W, that type of symbol is there. And here you have this regular symbol like W, that is the glide. So all these sounds are there, and we have discussed like why these sounds are called stop, fricative, affricate, nasal, liquid, and glide. And the place, because where the tongue touches or where the body part that is used, so that's why these sounds are categorized in that manner. So you have voicing, and only 9 sounds. Like how many sounds? I think 9 or 10 sounds are voiceless. Let's count the voiceless sounds in this chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then you have this 10, and you have this 11. So only 11 sounds that are voiceless. So if you have difficulty to understand the concept, or that experiment I demonstrated, that you need to close your ears tightly with your palm, and then you need to pronounce it. If you can't do that, then simply you need to learn that these 9 sound p, t, k, then ch, f, th, then s, sh, h, and these two are also. So these 11 sounds are voiceless, rest of the sounds are voiced. So do not confuse voiceless means silent. Don't confuse with that. Voiceless is different type of quality of the sounds, and voiced is different type of quality of sounds that you have. So here we will look at one distinction, that is between oral versus nasal phones. Now we have already discussed that this is your velum. This is your velum that you have. This back of the mouth is velum, the soft palate. And you can find one distinction in this figure, that here you have a block, a block. So once the air and the sound flows, it will come out from your mouth only. So this is oral articulation. And here, when the air and the sound flows, it will come out from mouth as well as from the nose. So it is nasal articulation. So when can you have nasal articulation and when can you have oral articulation? All the sounds except these three, ma, na, and nga, are oral. So only three sounds, only for three sounds you have nasal articulation. That means for ma, na, and anga, you have air that flows from mouth as well as from nose. So it's very simple again. And why is it so? You have a reason for that. So this reason is also a valid reason. So oral versus nasal folds, and it depends upon the position of the velum. Here the velum is lowered and here the velum is raised. When it is raised, let's say it is lowered. When it is raised, what will happen? So I'm slowly raising it. It's blocked. It's blocked. And I'm lowering it. So this velum is actually working like a gatekeeper. Incidentally, once you study communication, then there is a gatekeeper audience. Now, what is the meaning of gatekeeper audience? The meaning of gatekeeper audience is that particular, here audience means the person or the organization. That person or that organization decides whether the communication should pass or not. For example, all of you live in a family with beautiful parents, and sometimes you want to buy, let's say, the latest iPhone, and you have some fear that how can I directly ask this thing, or how can I put my request in front of my father for this iPhone that is like more than 1 lakh rupee. So what do? You first go to your mother. So mother is your gatekeeper audience. So mother listens to you, and then mother says that, okay, I will forward your request to your father. So here in a very congenial and in a family environment, I have made you understand the concept of gatekeeper audience, that what is the function of the gatekeeper audience. So similarly, this velum, it is like a gatekeeper. So when it is lowered, then there is a nasal articulation, and when it is raised, then there is only oral articulation. So it's like very commonsensical, very easily to understand. Velum is raised, then oral. Velum is lowered, then nasal. So there is, I don't think, any problem as such there in this. Now we will look at that what happens when we produce stops. So what happened? There is a complete closure and sudden release. And what are the sounds that are stops? Per and b. So per as in span, b as in ban, m as in man. All these three, all these three are bilabial. All these three are stops as well. And m is nasal as well. This m is nasal as well. So this ma has a quality of stop, ma has a quality of nasal as well. So you need to remember that it has two manners. Now these are letters S, P, A, N, but we have transcribed only one particular because we are studying stops and we are studying per sound. So this slanted bar, when you write something in slanted bar, then it is a sound. So when in the assignment you are writing these sounds, and when it is a sound, then always write individual sounds in slanted bars. That means it is a sound. And then write the three-term label. For example, first you write pa in the slanted bar, and then you will write voiceless, bilabial, stop. That is done. When you write about b sound as in ban, then you will write voiced, bilabial, stop. That is done. So you need to do this with all the sounds. That is your first assignment. The first assignment is just to observe the chart, consonant chart, and you need to write about each individual sound one by one. Pa, then b, ta, then da, then ka, the ga. Likewise, you need to do. So, like these bilabials, then alveolar, like stun and th is used. Alveolar because tip of the tongue touches alveolar ridge. Dot as in the, n, again alveolar. Scar. Now here letter is C, but sound is K. So you must not confuse with letter C and sound K, because once you pronounce it scar, then you can very easily find out that it is K sound. So you write K sound. Then you have gap, G sound, and anga, wing. So these two letters final, they represent this one sound. So sometimes there is a one-to-one correspondence between a letter and a sound. Like here, letter is P, sound is P. Letter is B, sound is B. But sometimes there are two letters and they correspond to one sound. Now this pronunciation in some British dialect, as I said, like pronunciation of this sound is so in some dialects, they won't say it bottle, bottle very clearly, bottle, 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 bottle. So that bottle, when you hear bottle, that is glottal sound. So it happens only in some British dialects, not in a very careful. For example, this glottal sound is very much there in Arabic. So we call Ahmad. They say Ahmad, 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 like Ahmad, like this. They won't say Ahmad because we speak the Hindi pronunciation, Dogri pronunciation. In Dogri and Hindi, we have very clear sound. But